Hello and welcome. Today we've got Mark and Danielle and Nichole, and today we are going to be discussing how when the banks crash, the gold will be king. Everyone will be running to gold and silver. Now, just before we begin, you can subscribe to my Instagram channel at nicholas.veniamin, where you can follow all my newsreels. Mark and Danielle, Nichole, thank you all for joining me. How are you and what have you been up to? We'll go with Mark first.
Well, it's now the fall out here, so it's kind of cold. That's why we're sitting by the fire, but everything's going very, very well. I hope everybody had a wonderful summer, and now we're heading into the holidays, and just want to wish everybody a happy holiday season. But everything's going very well for me, Nicholas. Thanks for asking.
Thank you. And Danielle, over to you.
Yeah, things are going well as can be. I sometimes feel like we live in every day feels like the crazy world, but we're just staying grounded and plugging into grounded information, which we appreciate you doing that, Nicholas, bringing people what's real and true. So, yeah.
Well, thank you. And Nichole, very interesting. I love your t-shirt, unvaccinated, ready to talk politics at Thanksgiving. What inspired you to write that? And obviously, how are you?
I'm great. Yeah, it's just a funny t-shirt because so many of us, as you know, it becomes uncomfortable, but it's just more, funny just to let people know what's coming for Thanksgiving. But I'm well, just enjoying the sunshine and looking forward to, all the bright stuff that's happening in the future. So that's where we are.
That's good. I'm glad to hear it. So, Mark and Danielle, why don't you give us a backstory? You've brought Nichole today. What's the story? What's the message that you'd like to share with the viewers today?
Want me to go?
What, you go first.
Okay. And I'll just say to everybody, we're not financial planners. We're not getting tax advice. We're not predicting where metals are going. Let me just put that out there. But I'll say many of you have seen us come on and talk with Nicholas for a long time about gold and silver. And I'm telling you, everybody, you really want to get educated on this because there are massive changes that are going to impact every single one of us. And I'm telling you, we've done a lot of homework and research on this. And I encourage you to do your own. But as we've come on and we've shared this, we've invited people to learn more information about what it is that we do and how they might be able to take benefits of some of what we have to offer. And I'll tell you, Nichole is one of those folks who was able to take advantage of this particular membership and be able to experience some great things. And I'll let Danielle say a few words before handing it over.
Yeah, no, I'll just say you said educated. I was a teacher. If you're seeing this for the first time, that's my background. And we are not educated properly on what is wise when it comes to our finances. And that was absolutely by design because they need us in their debt enslavement system. I just had a conversation with, I won't name the specific relationship, but it is somebody who I have a very close relationship with who is in banking. And I called him last week on Monday and I said, "Are you aware that Citizens Bank collapsed?" And he said, "No, they didn't." And I said, "Yes, they did. They collapsed on Friday." And I can hear him on his his keyboard. And he's like, "Holy cow." So somebody who is in the banking industry working with high net worth individuals was not even aware that on the Friday before the bank had collapsed, a major bank in the US. So everything, all of the information right now that is going into the homes of people in America is completely suppressed. We're being lied to. And I can't stress enough the sense of urgency. And these are the conversations we are finding ourselves in all the time because we feel it's our mission to bring the awareness to people that they need gold and silver. It is paramount. It is a survival asset right now. And so we obviously, brought on Nichole because Nichole shares that passion. And so that's just kind of what I wanted to add.
Absolutely. Nichole, why don't you give us a little backstory of you and what you do and how you got involved with this lovely silver and gold program that we are giving to our viewers and I've been involved in and I'm loving it. Been doing these videos with Mark and Danielle for 2 years and I'm really, really enjoying it. So why don't you do that for us, please?
Sure, my pleasure. Thank you. Yeah, so I've been in healthcare. I said I'm kind of ashamed to say that I've been in pharmaceutical and healthcare for my whole career. But when Danielle talks about being uneducated and how they don't educate us in schools. That continues into adulthood because I thought I was super smart. I invested in my 401k. I did all of those things. And my brother at the time, when I started my career, he was investing in gold and silver. And he was having coins that came to his house. And I was like, oh, those are really pretty, but I'm in my 401k, so we think we're smart. Because that's what they tell us that we have to do. And I since found out as I started really waking up to this information back in 2001, during, the 9/11, really start questioning and coming into the truth. I really understand and start asking more questions and saw the importance of really needing to put my family on the gold standard because the government isn't. And so we have to be able to secure that. So I thought it was too late because you look at the prices, you think, oh, I've missed the boat because now, gold is too expensive. You think you have to have a boatload of money and you really, really don't. You just have to start. But I thought it was too late until I met Mark and Danielle and this membership and understanding that you don't have to have much. You just have to do it. And it's important. And so with the education that comes, I really am passionate. So now I'm just on a mission because people just don't know. Everyone I'm talking to, they just don't know. They still don't see the value and the urgency because they don't understand the information. They don't see what's happening in the world. Like Danielle said, it's being suppressed. So, people are walking around in clown world and not understanding that, there's a big doomsday. I don't want to go there, but you understand. It's just like there's a sense of urgency because there is something looming that we have to protect ourselves from. And so if it's only just taking what you have and just starting with it, it's a sense of urgency to be able to protect your family and your assets of things that you worked hard for to make sure that it just doesn't disappear with the, click of a screen from your bank.
So tell me,
So it's just
Nichole, how exactly do you personally surgically regulate your membership with this program that helps you, benefits you, and for the future?
Sure. So I feel like a chipmunk in the winter right now. I'm taking every single, all the money that I would have spent on shoes or Starbucks or whatever, I'm packing that into my account. I have my kids on it. My children are adults now. My youngest is in college, but they're on it because I want them to understand. I want them to start saving and building for their future and being able to pass that down. So it's now, it's a sense of urgency for me. So my priorities have shifted because I don't want to be having to, I just want to be prepared for whatever's coming. We don't know, none of us can predict the future, but we can see the writing on the wall. And so that's where I am. So my priorities have just shifted and, my saving now is different.
And what do you like about the membership the most?
The discipline that it kind of, you can put it on autopilot. So there's so many aspects of it where you can go in, you can control, what you're spending with bullion, for example, and I can go in there and buy that anytime. If I think that I need a pair of shoes, I'm like, wait a minute, I think I'm gonna buy gold instead. And so I could just go in there and do that. But I also have, collectibles that are coming to my home every single month without thinking about it. And the same thing for my children. And that's something that makes me feel good that I know that I'm doing something. So it just gives you control over what you can do. Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that as well. It gives me the control to access my account whenever I want, and I can send physical silver or gold to my home. And now I've collected it over the past 2 years. I'm slowly putting them together, and I've had to just take it away from my home, put it in a private safe, and now I feel good because I've taken my own responsibility away from the banks, away from the government. The government cannot track, what I'm doing now. You guys have 401k over here. We have pensions. and I don't put any money in a pension because I know the fiat currency is constantly devaluing because of inflation. I'd rather it be in gold and silver. And I'm really glad that I'm doing this. And this is why we're doing these videos today, because we want to share this to the viewers. We want them to have access to this great technology that we're using to empower ourselves. Mark and Danielle, is there anything that you'd like to add to what Nichole has been saying?
No, I mean, that's it. Everything she said. And I will say this, because I'm going to put it out there. I don't ever want, when people are watching this, for them to feel like we're on here trying to sell something. We are not. We are offering information and access to information that everybody needs to know. And then as far as whether or not how you want to move forward with it, that's up to the individual. I don't care where people get their gold and silver, they need to get it. Obviously, we are one of the choices, but there are lots of choices. We believe ours is the best, but that's why we invite people to come on, learn about it. The biggest thing right now that holds people back, and we have these conversations all the time, is they don't know who to trust. They don't know what to get. They don't know what to do once they have it. And they want to make sure that they're making good choices. And we help with all of that. I always say we are like a concierge approach to buying gold and silver. We're with you every step of the way. It's a relationship. The biggest part, what I love, is the community that we have brought together. I mean, the most amazing people, and, not to name drop, but we've got Dr. Christiane Northrup here with us. We got some amazing people, freedom fighters. We have a huge Canadian freedom fighter, that whole convoy movement. They have joined us here. So people feel safe. They feel like they can just be themselves and say what's on their mind. They don't have to hold back anymore. Nichole, you know that, right? The community is it's amazing.
Absolutely. And Mark, how about yourself?
Well, I would say this. It feels empowering. And I encourage people, obviously, do your own due diligence. Look at the same stuff we've looked at, not from mainstream media, because they're not going to tell us that. Bottom line is the banks and governments are buying gold and silver by the tons. And a lot of it is with an alternative currency that's being developed that's really designed to de-dollarize the entire world, meaning the dollar would be replaced as the world's reserve currency. Now, all of these things are taking place while people are sitting there saying such things as, I'm going to wait and see how things pan out. You know what? I just want to see what's going on. And they're not doing their homework. I'm telling everybody right now, we have a window to be able to get our hands on these precious metals at affordable prices, whether it's from us or someone else. But I'll tell you, as soon as, and this is from Andy Schechtman, I have a lot of respect for this gentleman. I learned a lot from this gentleman. He has said that as soon as you have that one bank bail-in, and if you're not familiar with what a bank bail-in everybody, back in 2008, when we had the economic crisis, there was a bailout where the government came in, stepped in, and bailed out these banks. Well, there was a law passed the following year in which banks would no longer be bailed out. They would be bailed in. Now, we've already seen two banks earlier this year be bailed out. They were exceptions to the rule. Turns out a lot of politicians had their money in those banks. It's kind of coincidental, and a lot of the high-tech people and so forth. But the smaller banks wouldn't. Now, when this bank happened last week, it got bought out by another bank that's not one of the major banks. And it's just a matter of time, everybody. There are hundreds of banks right now that are on the verge. And this isn't meant to scare people. This is meant to simply say, listen, go out and look to protect what you've worked your entire lives for. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. I don't want to see us be in a position like you see what happened in Venezuela when their fiat currency went to zero, when all of a sudden every week the hyperinflation toilet paper was doubling in price by the day. No exaggeration, everybody. Go look it up. And because of the way that we're printing money here and the world, the way they view the dollar right now, they're not seeing it with any sort of value. We're not producing anything here in the United States. We buy all our stuff through imports from a lot of these other countries. And so what happens if our dollar all of a sudden loses its value on the world stage? And how are we going to be protected? Why not do what the banks and governments are? And that's what we're thinking. I want to do exactly what they're doing to protect their butts. This is one of the best ways that I've seen to be able to get it. But again, as Danielle said, get the information and do whatever you feel is going to be best for you and your family, but at least learn about it. It's changing lives. And I really just want people to know, because then if you make a decision, it's not for you, at least you're aware. That's the most important thing.
Absolutely. Well, I know that you Mark and Danielle does a webinar for anyone that's obviously interested to click on the link below and put in your name and your address, and they'll get in touch with you for the free webinar and explain to you everything, how it all works. Nichole, again, thank you for joining us today, and Mark and Danielle. Is there anything anyone wants to say before we finish? No? Okay, great. Well, guys.
Well, I just want to say thank you for letting us spread the message. It's important. You know, this is the most important mission we could be on right now, is to make as many people aware of this as possible. So thank you for allowing us to spread it a little bit of joy.
Well, thank you very much. You're very welcome. And we'll speak again very soon. The link will be below. And God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
God bless.